The office of the President Salva Kiir says the leadership was never informed about the accusation of the Nile River dredging machines from Egypt. Police in northern Bahr Ghazal state have detained a 50-year-old man for allegedly killing his village mate following a land dispute. And a family has sued a teacher for allegedly molesting a 3-year-old girl in Juba. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Yar Ajakdeng, and now the news in detail. The office of President Salva Kiir says the leadership was never informed about the accusation of the Nile River dredging machines from Egypt. My colleague Doro Penina reports.
The reaction comes after some experts and members of the public have criticized importation of the equipment. They were delivered by the Egyptian government and received by the Minister of Water Resources and Irrigation, Manawa Peter, in March. At the weekend, Unity State Information Minister David Guy confirmed the machines arrived in the state, a move some experts have opposed. For instance, the Vice-Chancellor of University of Juba posted on his official Facebook page, calling for 10,000 signatures to be submitted to President Kiir. He made the appeal to academics, civil societies, concerned citizens, and students, among others. This, he said, is to stop the initiative to dredge the Nile. When contacted on the matter, the press secretary in office of the president, Atenwek Aten, says Salva Kiir was never informed about the machines. He spoke to iRadio this morning in Juba.
The government has not yet approved it simply because the government wanted to know first from the experts the ecological impact of clearing the Nile. Because there are people who actually their livelihood depends very much on the swamps that extends to more than 1,000 of square miles, and therefore South Sudan would want to know if the people who actually depend on those swamps would be actually affected. So the government has not given any approval yet clearing of Niles and water and clearing the plants that are actually inside the Nile. So this is to tell the people that the government has not yet given any approval in regards to that. Well, I don't know that machines. We have not been told about those machines completely.
Atenwek said that the decision to dredge the Nile River was not people-centered, but rather a unilateral one. For this reason, Aten said the government has invited external experts to engage with South Sudanese, including intellectuals, to arrive at a conclusive decision.
The government of South Sudan is a responsible government. It always does things after they study. It cannot do things without the study that shows the benefit will outweigh the negative impact. That is why the government of South Sudan has called for experts to come in. It will be people-based discussion. They will be actually having a forums in order to discuss with the academia, discuss with the intellectuals, and even the civil society organizations. So that any decision about Nile water will be a collective decision, will not be a unilateral decision by the government.
Over the years, Egypt has used its extensive diplomatic connections and the colonial era 1929 and 1959 agreements to successfully prevent the construction of any major infrastructure projects on the tributaries of the Nile.
Meanwhile, a scholar has warned of long-term environmental impact if the government goes ahead to clean some tributaries of River Nile without feasibility studies. Last week, the government of Unity State received Egyptian-donated water dredging machines meant to clean up some tributaries of River Nile. The equipment will also be used to remove sediments and clear weeds from the Nam River in Unity State and Bahr Ghazal Basin. But it is not clear how many of the machines have been brought into the country and when the project is going to start. Kadir Abdallah Kwal is the assistant professor at School of Natural Resources and Environmental Studies at the University of Juba. He urges the government to justify the objectives of dredging the South Sudan water bodies. This is because, he says, once implemented, the dredging project will reduce fish production. make river banks unstable and cause pollution in the river, commonly referred as turbidity of water.
Many things have not been carried out. Number one, environmental impact assessment before the process has not been carried out. This is why I was asking all those questions. How are they going to deal with this pollution or this siltation coming out of the process of dredging? Where are they going to dispose them? And number two, our communities depends on the fish production. As long as this dredging is going to affect the fish spawning banks, because our fish here lay eggs there and we have a lot of fish now in South Sudan. Now all these resources, we are going to lose them. Most of our communities there, this is their livelihood. What is the solution? How are we going to make it for those communities to make living?
Abdallah, however, recommends that the government needs to conduct an environmental and social impact assessment, as well as the economic viability before embarking on the project. He further says,
I need the government to state clearly where, what rivers, what streams are they going to clear, and the level of their clearance, and where are they going to take this siltation after the desiltation process. Where are they going to dispose them? Because if you are just going to dispose them anywhere there, they will be flushed back by the coming season or this season back to the river again. And what is next? After you dredge this area, where are those machines are going to do? Maybe you are going to use it to dig Jonglei Channel. The same way you did not talk about what rivers and what areas are you going to clean, maybe later on you are going to use it somewhere there. So we need them to be clear and tell us and involve us. This is our resources, this is our water, and we can help in doing the right thing.
Away from that, police in northern Bahr el Ghazal state have detained a 50-year-old man for allegedly killing his village mate following a land dispute. Deng Akot Tong reportedly murdered Atak Wal Angara in a village between Moch Agok and Akwech of Awil West County this morning. The two were reportedly embroiled in a land dispute, with each claiming ownership of a farmland. Deceased Atak Wal Angara was on his border when Tong stabbed him inside his hut. He died on the spot at around 7:30 a.m. Suspect Tong is now being investigated by the police for the alleged crime. Gwot Akol Gwot is the police spokesperson in northern Bahr el Ghazal. He spoke to iRadio from Awil town this morning.
It happened that, according to the scenario, Atak Wal, the deceased, was riding his motorbike, trying to go to his shop because he's a normal trader. And he met with Deng Akot, and Deng called him while trying to stop his border to understand what he was called for. Unfortunately, he found long spear being stabbed on his chest, on the side of the heart, and he died on the scene. So this person, Deng Akot, was arrested. Heavy police was deployed immediately as soon as we received information to restore public order. Now the situation is calm because police is engaging both parents to try to find the way to leave this matter to the law, since the suspect is now being detained and being questioned by the police.
Gwot Akol went on to explain what transpired between the suspect and the late.
The difference was over the piece of farmland where both parties were claiming. Deng was claiming that the farm that Atak was using belongs to the ancestors, and the same also scenario is being claimed by the deceased side. Up to now, investigation will reveal and then the court will determine who has the land. But for us, our job is to maintain public order, and indeed it is maintained.
A family has sued a teacher for allegedly molesting a 3-year-old girl in Juba. This incident reportedly occurred last week. This was after the unnamed toddler reported the alleged wrongdoing to her parents, who then took her for medical examination. Medical results compelled the mother to report the matter to the school administration, but the unnamed school reportedly denied her allegations. Suhila Deng is the lawyer of the complainant. She told iRadio a court hearing of the case has been scheduled on June 14th.
بس أنا ما هنقدر ندي فيه تفاصيل قطعية لأنه هو يداب في الكيس في المحكمة. فأقل تفاصيل ما من مصلحتنا. الطرف الثاني فيه محامي ممكن يقدر يعني يضبط نفسه. ما نحن أي فاتحين الدعوة لكن ما بنقدر ندخل فيها تفاصيل. ليه؟ لأن الدعوة لسه ما زالت أمام القضاء. الملف ما اتفتح.
Deng was one of the lawyers who handled the case of slain 5-year-old Abu Klwal in a will of northern Barkazal state last week. And finally, before the international news, more than 50 Juba-based visually impaired persons have received walking sticks to aid their movement in the city. The sticks were a donation from the Turkish embassy delivered through the African Indigenous Women Empowerment yesterday. The organization works with vulnerable people, including women and people with disabilities with Juba and other states. Sensor Kangan Senol, the third secretary of the Turkey embassy, hopes the aid will ease mobility for the beneficiaries.
These white canes symbolizes freedom, symbolizes easiness in life. It also symbolizes that Turkish people are with you with every step you take in your life. So these 56 white canes, we hope that they will ease your lives and they will help you with your everyday life. So we are with you with every step you take, and we would like to promote South Sudanese community with whatever needs they have.
Stella is one of the beneficiaries of the Turkish donated white canes.
إنه في طفلة عمر 3 سنة تم التلاعب بها أو التحرش بها من قبل المعلمة في المدرسة. هو ما بقدر تكشف تفاصيل. بضرب القضية بتاعتي. أيوة فعلا حصل في بلاغ مفتوح في المحكمة. والجلسة بتاعته يوم 14.
For his part, the chairperson of the Union of Visually Impaired Persons, Robert Ladu, appealed to the Turkish people to support the training of about 50 people on using the white canes.
So a visually impaired person, before training, a person is full of fear, full of stress, depression. A person is dirty. A person cannot be able to access any basic service because there is no any training done for him or her. So for my appeal, that if we will go back from here, we are going to come out with a concept note, and then also we will have a budget that we can be able to submit to you, so that in a very short time we can be able to train them.
You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News, and now to the stories making headlines in the region and international scene. My colleague Susan Philip joins us, and this international news is proudly brought to you by MTN.
Freedom is everyone's desire. Freedom is what makes you and me happy. Freedom is called Hurea in my country. My telecom network has chosen to give me freedom. MTN is my network. I have the freedom. I choose affordable and reliable. Hurea Bundles is my way. MTN introduces to you Hurea Bundles, giving you the freedom to call across all networks with the same bundles. Subscribe by dialing *100 *3 *4 hash and get 15 minutes for only 100 SSB and 30 minutes for 150 SSB, valid for 1 day. Hurea, pure freedom. MTN, everywhere you go.
In now to the stories making headlines in the region and in the international scene. The Ministry of Interior in Kenya says at least 200 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition have been recovered in northern Marsabit County in an ongoing operation to bring peace to the region. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i says more than 5,000 illegal guns are suspected to be in the community. A joint security team has been carrying out a mob-up operation to confiscate illegal firearms from the public. Officials say some of the guns were surrendered today. Elsewhere, the army in the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced that the Codeco rebel says it is ending its insurgency after peace talks with the government. Codeco, whose full name is Congo Economic Development Cooperative, is one of the deadliest militia groups operating in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. It was blamed for last month's slaughter of around 50 civilians in a mining area. The group's decision to end hostilities was made on Monday following talks in Ituri province that brought together representatives of various ethnic groups, including leaders of the Lendu community that linked to the rebels. Finally, Russia's UN ambassador has stormed out of a UN Security Council meeting after the European Council president blamed Russia's invasion of Ukraine for causing a global food crisis. Charles Michael said Russia was using food supplies as a stealth missile against the developing world, forcing people into poverty. The Russian envoy Vasily Nebenzia accused Mr. Michael of spreading lies. The war has left food stuck at Ukrainian ports. That is the end of stories making headlines in the region and in the international scene.
Thank you, Susan, for those international news. And now my colleague Lasuba Memo joins us with the sports news.
Thanks, Yara Jack. In the world of sports, let's begin with the national team. The South Sudan Athletics Federation have sent 5 athletes to represent South Sudan in the 22nd African Athletics Championship, which started in Mauritius today. The team was selected from South Sudan camping in Kenya, and they have departed from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to Mauritius. The team is headed by SAF Secretary General Marco Akol and Coach Peter Mango. The participants include Abraham Gwot-Thon for 800 meters, Yach Majok Wall for 1500 meters and 5000 meters, Lucia William Morris for 100 meters, 200 meters, and Semi Tiel for 200 and 400 meters. Defending champions France have 1 point from 2 Nations League games after being held by Croatia in a split. Didier Deschamps made 10 changes from the side, who threw away a lead to lose 2-1 to Denmark on Friday. They looked on course for victory when Adrien Rabiot's cool finish from Wissam Ben Yedder's ball gave them the lead. But Andrej Kramaric scored a fine penalty after the video assistant referee awarded him a spot kick following a foul by Jonathan Klaus. Denmark now top the group on 6 points after winning 2-1 in Austria. France now face an uphill battle to reach next year's Nations League finals after throwing away 2 leads in 5 days. And finally, Mohamed Salah rejected Liverpool's request to have a pre-match scan on an undisclosed injury before the forward played 90 minutes for his country on Sunday. The 29-year-old captained the side to a 1-0 victory over Guinea in Cairo as Egypt began their qualifying campaign for next year's Africa Cup of Nations. He added Salah's X-ray would take place after the game. Egypt are scheduled to play an AFCON group match against Ethiopia in Malawi's capital Lilongwe on 9th June and a friendly against South Korea the following Tuesday. That's all in the world of sports. Back to you, Yara Jack.
Thank you, Lasuba Memo, for that roundup of sports news. And now to end this news bulletin, here is a recap of the main headlines again. The office of President Salva Kiir says the leadership was never informed about the accusation of the Nile River dredging machines from Egypt. Police in northern Barkazal State have detained a 50-year-old man for allegedly killing his village mate following a land dispute. And a family has sued a teacher for allegedly molesting a 3-year-old girl in Juba. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. You can also get these stories and updates by subscribing to iRadio News Alert on your MTN South Sudan number. Call 700-700# and follow the instructions. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It is also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on Twitter at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel iRadio South Sudan and watch our comprehensive interviews. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I am Yar Ajak Deng. Thank you for listening.
Freedom is everyone's desire. Freedom